Hi guys, Fat Mr. Rufflewaffles here. Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Spesh, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the complete storyline of the Dark Aether and Cold War zombies as a whole. Now, in this video, I will not be getting as deep as Mr. Rufflewaffles Milo does over on his channel.
Timeline.
Also, if you want to go even deeper after watching this video, go on over to Milo's channel. He has basically the story up through Die Maschine. This video is going to go of the story up until the release of Firebase Z, so it goes a little bit further. Oh, but that being said, guys, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. We are less than a week away from Firebase Z coming out, and we're going to have tons of storyline, Easter eggs, and gameplay coming up for Firebase Z, along with Twitch streams over at twitch.tv/Spesh27. Without further ado, let's get into the story of Cold War zombies. In the beginning. Have to go back to the end of World War II. And we will see on the tape here from the cutscene shown before Die Maschine that Samantha Maxis has acquired intel regarding a new project named Project Endstation that was originally created by the Nazis at the end of World War II. We learn that after the Nazis fled the facility, that a new KGB Spetsnaz group named Omega has now entered the facility and returned on the machine inside. So here we learn about our two groups. On one side, we have the Omega group. This is a Russian-led group specifically aimed at increasing Russia's chances at beating the US during the Cold War. They are looking for any advance that they can get in their nuclear sciences and any other ways that they can weaponize anything. On the other side, we have a CIA group named Requiem, led by Grigory Weaver, who Weaver you may remember from the Black Ops storyline. That's how when he lost his eye to Krevchenko, or however the heck you say his name. So Samantha Maxis works with Grigory Weaver. She provides him and Requiem with intel that she has learned. She is not officially a part of Requiem, but she is a friend of Weaver's. Now, I can't stress that enough. She is not a part of Requiem. She is just a friend of Grigory Weaver's. And during this cutscene, she will have sent Weaver a message or a letter along with a tape outlining what happened at Project Endstation. It all started at the end of World War II when the Nazis were so desperate to further their nuclear program that they created a machine called the cyclotron in Morasko, Poland. Dr. Ulrich Vogel was the creator of the cyclotron, and he was urged to further the Nazi agenda and push the cyclotron to its limits. The original plan for the cyclotron was to just simply develop their nuclear powers, but when powering on the cyclotron, Vogel got so much more than he had asked for. The cyclotron had ripped a hole through time and space, creating an anomaly or a portal into what we now know is the Dark Aether. Obviously, at that time, Vogel and his associates had no idea what was going on. They just described it as a rift through space and time, and that the air around the machine glowed with a purple aura, and anyone affected by that aura became sick and only could be described as the living dead. Eventually, the Germans had to flee the facility at the end of the war because it just became too much for them, and the Soviets came to clean it up. We see that during the opening cutscene trailer when Grigory Weaver says it's a cleanup crew, and the Soviets send a man into the cyclotron, and then you see them sealing the door off. That man had one mission, and it was to shut down the cyclotron. Unfortunately for the rest of the world, he did not succeed in completely shutting down the cyclotron, but just stopping it for a little bit. Years later, the Omega group, which again is headed by the Russians, came back to the site. It's a secret Spetsnaz group that, while most of the Soviets decided they wanted to close off Project Endstation, the goal of Omega is simply to further the Soviet agenda during the Cold War. So when they go to Project Endstation, they crack open the doors, they head down there and turn on the cyclotron once more, and it creates rifts not only in this area, but it starts to create rifts around the entire planet. We learn of rifts in the Ural Mountains as well as Vietnam, and it also explains the onslaught mode and how we are getting rifts in random places such as Nuketown and Raid and the mall at the Pines. Rifts are opening up around the world due to the reactivation of the cyclotron by the Omega group. And this is where Requiem comes in. Requiem's goal is to go in and investigate what is happening in Morasko, Poland at Project N Station. Now, Requiem is made up of the strike team and is headed by Gregory Weaver, but that is not all. Dr. Elizabeth Gray is the head of the unnatural sciences, and Dr. Oscar Strauss is the head of energy research. And then Major Carver is, well, simply that, a major. Now, Dr. Strauss was the head of energy research, and he worked for the Nazis in the original creation of Project N Station. Eventually, the strike team goes through and enters the facility and finds the cyclotron, and they turn it back on as well, and a rift is formed in the center of the room. Upon walking up to the rift, the strike team goes through the anomaly and finds themselves in the Dark Aether. They are not there for long, however, as they find a mysterious part to fix a machine back inside of the particle accelerator room, and they are transported back. Upon once again going into the Dark Aether, the strike team finds different pieces of a machine later known as the Aether Scope. Upon creating the Aether Scope, new orders come in for the strike team. They are to shut down the cyclotron by any means necessary. We also learn in the distance after you reach round 40 of what is called the Elder God. You can see him once you enter the Dark Aether after round 40. Off in the distance, you can see your screen shaking. We also learned through a later side quest Easter egg that the Elder God occasionally delivers us a max ammo that never despawns on the map. The story of the Elder God is still not quite yet fleshed out. However, once we get into Firebase Z, there is a little bit more here. The Germans had created a machine other than the cyclotron. As we knew, the cyclotron was again creating the living dead, or zombies. And the Germans, or Dr. Vogel specifically, saw this as a great opportunity to create German zombies, so zombies that were loyal to Germany and their agenda, to fight on their battlefield, like we have heard so many times before. So, the Der Wäschler was created and placed in the medical bay. The idea for this machine was that it could reanimate the consciousness of these zombies, of these fallen German soldiers, so that they knew whose side they were on, they knew who they were fighting for, and they had some idea of the German agenda. Unfortunately for them, they were never able to complete this task because they had to flee after cyclotron projects went wrong. We see this part during the Die Maschine Easter Egg. We power up the machine by shooting the Die Shockwave upgrades into the 4 parts of the machine, and then we're able to reanimate the Megaton after we split him underneath of the Der Wäschler. And this comes in as Orlov. Now, Orlov was one of the characters that when things officially went wrong for the Nazis, he was a part of it. He was told to turn on the machine. The Nazis knew full well what would happen, but they didn't know it to what extent. And that is what had happened to Orlov. Now, as we can tell, the Der Wäschler did work, and it does reanimate Orlov, and he's able to speak to us, and he is able to... his consciousness is still there. He has some sort of memory. So the Nazis' creation of the Der Wäschler was good, and it would have worked out for them had they been able to stay there. After coaxing Orlov out of hiding, we are able to use him and his knowledge to help shut down the cyclotron. Orlov gave his life at the end of the Die Maschine Easter Egg to ensure that this mess would be destroyed. With his help, Strike Team was able to destroy and blow up the cyclotron, but they had to get back to Raptor 1, Requiem's helicopter, before it exploded. And that is what we see at the end of the Easter egg, where we are running through all the different lightning bolt thingies coming up out of the ground. That is the overloading of the cyclotron getting ready to explode. As we get on to the helicopter and flee, we do see that all of the Die Maschine site explodes in Morasko, Poland, and that site is officially gone. Now, through a mole in Omega's group, Requiem actually learns of a new anomaly and a new portal opened up in Khe Sanh, Vietnam. Samantha Maxis begins to receive different types of intel from a mysterious character named R, who we later learn is Ravenna. And what we learn from those letters is that Omega has created a facility around this portal in Vietnam called Outpost 25. The people of Vietnam weren't even able to think twice about this, as Omega told them that they were simply investigating nuclear weapons created by the United States of America that had gone wrong. When in all actuality, Omega was there to further their own research. Through more of these letters, we also learned that Omega has created a portal that can lead them between the town in Khe Sanh to the base that was built around the portal. That means that Omega has started to learn how they can control these Dark Aether anomalies to travel distances Not necessarily back in time or forward in time, but travel distances similar to how we had in the original Zombies storyline. We also learn from intel inside of the game that Dr. William Peck, one of the group leaders inside of Omega, has begun harvesting Ethereum crystals. Omega is sending volunteers, quote unquote, known as Ethernauts, into the Dark Aether to harvest these Ethereum crystals. By doing this, Omega has gained a huge leg up in the arms race of the Cold War. They're way further ahead of America than anyone could have believed. Maxis, learning of this from Ravenna, decides to head to the Firebase Z Caisson site, Outpost 25, and meet up with Ravenna there to see what she can do. However, unfortunately, she is captured by the Omega group when this happens. Now, once again, Gregory Weaver sends in the strike team to Outpost 25 in Vietnam with one mission: rescue Samantha by any means necessary. As we see at the end of the gameplay trailer here for Firebase Z, Omega has unleashed things far beyond anything that we could have imagined back in Die Maschine. Here we see the Russian Manglers, originally seen in Gorod Krovi back in Black Ops 3, which makes sense seeing as how Omega is a Russian-led group. Omega has also created these new creatures that seemingly came from the Dark Aether. And I have a video coming out about these characters here in the next couple of days that explains what I think these monsters might be. And then at the very end of the gameplay trailer, we see the Elder God once again. Now, we don't get to see it for very long. We are not sure if this is, we have to end up fighting the Elder God at the end of this, or if the Elder God is again here to help us. We are not sure. Now, as we head into DLC 1 for Cold War Zombies, our one mission is to rescue Samantha Maxis from the Omega Group and Firebase Z, while also learning of all the new and improved technologies that Omega Group has put together at this site. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot more that is going to be added to this story throughout the Firebase Z map, and we will learn whatever will happen inside of the Easter egg. With that being said, guys, I hope this video made your day better. I hope it kind of gave you a overview of the Dark Aether storyline as we know it thus far. Again, if you guys want to go even deeper on this storyline, then go over to Mr. Raffle Waffles' YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description, and watch his video. I mean, so far what he has is just up through Die Maschine, but he goes even deeper with all the characters, each person in Die Maschine. So with that being said, guys, I hope this video made your day better. Again, don't forget to subscribe for all the Cold War content you could ever ask for. I hope to see you guys over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Spesh27, and I'll see you soon.